Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Random Roast. I am your host, Phil.
And Dan.
Don't forget Dan, and this is episode 5. We made it to episode 5. Again, guys, before we get started, make sure to like this video if you're on YouTube and subscribe if you are new. And if you guys are listening on iTunes or podcasts or whatnot, make sure to give us 5 stars and leave a description with it because they love it. The Apple gods love it.
They most definitely do. They like stars. They are fiends on the stars, and 5 of them make them full.
So, and I also want to throw it out there if you guys want to send us a message, send us an email. It's randomroastinfo@gmail.com. And you can also hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and not Snapchat yet, but we may get there. Who knows? But we got a good episode for you guys. We're pretty pumped about it. It's been a beautiful weekend, and we're rolling into this week. So the drop day for you guys, if you're listening, should have been Thursday morning. So it's like 5 a.m. Central Time. That's our drop dates. But without further ado, guys, Dan has a entourage of delicious subjects because I'm using food terms here because Denny's is our huge sponsor. So we're gonna get to that later. But we just gotta get you hungry first.
Yeah, you gotta get ready for that Grand Slam Encores with some topics. But the hot topic, man. I didn't watch a single second of the football this week or this weekend. And I still heard about Antonio Brown.
Dude, it's a big deal.
I mean, so I stopped watching football a handful of years ago. I just grew tired of it. Just mostly not because of the concussion stuff. I don't really care about that. You know, you're running each other at high speeds. You're going to get hurt. But yeah. It's more just the speed of the game. It's too slow for me. It's like 2 seconds of action and 45 seconds of replays. I just got sick of it. So, but from what I know, so my data on football is very dated. But isn't what I know? I'm going to tell you what I know, and you correct me if I'm wrong. So, a famous player goes to the Raiders. They pay a lot for him. So one way or another, the relationship between this player and the Raiders turns very sour very quickly. And then the Patriots pounce on this. And the Patriots have done this like time and time again. It is with Randy Moss all those years ago. They do it like all these players. And the Raiders do what the Raiders do. They ruin things for themselves that don't need to be ruined.
Right.
Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell. I mean, I'm gonna throw this out here. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I am not a Raiders fan. I do not like the Raiders. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. We have some friends that love the Raiders and are diehard Raiders fans.
I would say 80% of Raider fans are criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the last San Diego Chargers game versus the Raiders, like the last home game that the Chargers were still in San Diego, and it was versus the Raiders, and 80% of the game, or the people in the crowd, were Raider fans. So I get why the Chargers left San Diego.
Yep.
But I felt like I was going to get stabbed no less than 56 times leaving that stadium.
Because, so, I mean, well, with the Raiders and with that being said, if you want to increase your chances of being stabbed, try this pairing: a Raiders versus Steelers game. It's like they stab you as you enter the stadium as just a way of saying hi.
Yo, if you're the type of person who stabs people because of a football game, I need you to stay home. I need you to stab yourself.
I would endorse that message.
Because there's absolutely no reason to get that heated about a sport, especially a team sport. I mean, there's a comedian named Chris D'Elia. He has this joke, which I completely agree with. It's about mostly football, but it's all sports, really, team sports. It's like, hey, if you're wearing a jersey, and let's say it's a Tom Brady jersey, and let's say you just happen to be walking around town, and you walk by Tom Brady. He gets to do whatever he wants to you because you're voluntarily wearing his name on your back. You're his property. You spent $80 or whatever it costs to buy a jersey. to put his name on your back. You're wearing another man's name on your back. So he gets to do...
Tom Brady is America's sweetheart, okay? So he's Tom Brady, okay? He's the GOAT.
I mean, maybe Tom Brady wasn't a good example because he'd probably just want to play patty cake with you. But let's say if it was like, I don't know, let's say it was on Antonio Brown. Let's say if you bought a Raiders jersey, a Raiders Antonio Brown jersey, how mad at the world are you right now?
That's almost as mad as the people who drafted Andrew Luck in their first pick in fantasy football.
This is why I always make fun of these people. Like, you're getting mad about make-believe stuff, and it doesn't even affect your life. Like, you go to sleep and you wake up, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They get so mad.
How long was he officially on the team for?
He didn't play a single official down because the first games took place this weekend.
So you think they just they made a bunch of jerseys and stuff up front?
He's considered without question a top 3 wide receiver.
Yeah.
So for sure they sold a lot of jerseys.
Oh man.
And so now he's with the Patriots, which is like the Patriots are like the enemy of everybody. But especially the Raiders.
Who do you think the Raiders are? I mean, who are the Raiders? Who do you think the Patriots are going to play in the Super Bowl this year?
It doesn't matter. They're going to win.
I kind of want Tom Brady to have a ring for every finger.
I want him to have 10 rings. I want him to single-handedly destroy the NFL.
He could double Thanos snap.
Pretty much. Like, there's an ideology that's a lot more common with millennials than older generations. And this ideology is people follow players versus teams.
Right.
And I fall into that category because I don't care about the Patriots. I don't care about New England, Boston area. I've never even been to Boston. But I like Tom Brady.
Let me tell you something, though. Boston, it's more than a feeling. Like, that's all I can say.
It's more than a feeling, and I've heard there's more than a lot of racism there, too. So I'm not sure if I even want to go there. It's more than just racism. So, but I do like Tom Brady. It's weird that 2 dudes that have never lived in the New England area like Tom Brady, but not the Patriots. Because you don't like the Patriots either, right?
I prefer the Patriots. I'm actually a Dolphins fan.
What? What?
Yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan.
Explain your logic. I lived in Florida, and nobody's a Dolphins fan.
Well, okay, so it was one of those things where you used to live in Florida, and I was in California. We were super young, and for some reason, when y'all came to visit, I just thought Florida was cooler than California. So I started liking Florida stuff, and so since then, I've always kind of just followed the Dolphins and. I just ended up liking them.
I'm sorry. Nobody likes the Dolphins.
It is literally your fault that I'm a Dolphins fan. You've planted that seed in my life and destroyed me.
I didn't even live in Miami. I lived in Central Florida, so the closest team to us was Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't know geography that well. It's just Florida. It was a Florida team,
I guess there's a couple others. There's the Jaguars. You can just...
Oh, yeah, so for those of you people out there that don't know, Dan and I might be related.
We might be.
We might be related.
We might have held hands a couple times. So
Dan is my mother.
It's a very complicated situation, but it's some days I'm the mother, some days I'm the father. It just depends on my mood. But speaking of moods, Antonio Brown, have you cut? I listen to a lot of podcasts, hence why we're doing this because I'm a big fan of podcasts. I don't even listen to sports podcasts, but they talk about it. I listen to MMA podcasts. That's really the only sport I truly follow. And they even talk about this.
Is MMA podcasting pretty exciting?
It's all about the individual, It's
okay.
It's just like anything else. You're listening for a particular person. So they even talked about this. And he had issues with this helmet a few weeks ago. I don't really blame the Raiders. I blame Antonio Brown. But the Raiders, they do what the Raiders do. They signed someone who had a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, and someone with a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, they need to go to a safe home. They need to go to rehab. You don't go to Oakland. You don't go to the Raiders to find a good, comfortable home. You go there to party and be a menace to society. And
Okay.
that's
Okay.
why the Raiders do what the Raiders do so well, which is ruin themselves.
Hashtag Raider Nation.
Hashtag go stab yourself nation. So, and I mean, honestly, like, now the Patriots, they had a weak area with the wide receivers because their tight end retired, Gronk retired, and
yeah, dude, Gronk was huge, man. He was huge.
Even though it's a different position, but their wide receivers they're getting older. They're a little weak in that area. So now they got, without question, undeniable, a top 3 wide receiver for cheap this season. They signed him for cheap. So now they do what they always do. They replenish themselves on the cheap because Tom Brady takes a discount, and that's why they're able to rebuild the roster. That's why they're always a top-tier team, because his wife is a baller model. And because she's a baller model, he takes less. He doesn't take as much money as the other quarterbacks that are familiar to our names.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's willing to take less because his wife makes so much. He's not the breadwinner in the family.
Interesting, but he could easily be the breadwinner.
Yeah, he takes millions less, but he'd rather win than make more, so he takes the discount.
You know what? I actually admire that a little bit, to be honest.
So, I want him to have 4 more rings, and I want him to, like, single-handedly ruin the NFL. Because I think a lot of people have kind of checked out watching football because the Patriots keep winning.
I mean, they're just good.
I used to be a hater, but then he turned me around. So I was like, you know what? I want him to ruin it. I want him to Thanos the NFL. Just ruin it. Snap your fingers and win 4 more rings. Come on, let's do it. I mean,
here's the thing. People are really good at talking smack and talking crap about Tom Brady, about, deflating balls, about yada, yada, yada. But every single time Tom Brady takes them to the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, he's just flat out the greatest of all time. He's like the best quarterback. And I mean, he takes average people and makes them excel. He's just that good. And I mean, if you put fantastic people in those positions, they're just unstoppable. And like, you just, I mean, yeah, you can hate Tom Brady all you want, but you literally at this point in time, you cannot deny the greatness of Tom Brady. And I think that's what people hate. You know what I mean? They can say, oh yeah, well, so-and-so. I'm like, no, this guy is the best, like, hands down, and he keeps playing and he keeps winning. And yeah, people are kind of getting tired of it, but I mean, he's the Michael Jordan of quarterbacks.
He is. And then the Patriots management, the coach, they always get these drama-filled dudes, and they pretty much tell him, like, up front, like, we're not putting up with that. You know that right now before you sign up here. And they know they can't get away with it there. You can get away with it being a Raider. And the Raiders kind of like it. They kind of like that attention. They got that bad boy kind of vibe. But they got that bad boy kind of vibe from, like, the early 90s hip-hop artists wearing all their gear.
And also hence all the criminals that are actually fans,
But those hip-hop artists wore Raider gear because it wasn't blue and it wasn't red. It was black and white. That's why they wore that, because it was, like, neutral. They wanted to look kind of tough, kind of like repping California, but they didn't want to rep either major gang in the Southern California area. So it's smart, but that transformed into being a thug, and now the Raider fans transformed to actually stabbing people versus just pretending to stab people. So you can't feel bad for the Raiders, and they're going to move to Las Vegas. So go to Vegas. No one's going to like you. The only time people are going to go there is to party, and then, dude, Vegas,
get stabbed.
You're going to... So most football games are on Sundays. But let's say they do a Saturday night game. Sometimes they do that later in the season.
Right.
Saturday night game in Las Vegas. Oh, my God.
It's going to be hot. It's hot as hell.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Seriously. That's not a joke. That's not a pun. That means people are going to get stabbed.
Well, and it's hot there. Wait, so they play in a dome, right?
I don't know if it's indoor or outdoor. I think it's going to be indoor, but still
it cannot be outdoor. Like, Las Vegas has a heat index all the time. They're like at least 114. They'll like die of a heat exhaustion.
But dude, everyone's going to be super drunk. They're going to be partying. Everyone's got hotel rooms. There's going to be so many fights. It's going to be like the Raiders versus, like, what's like a very tranquil team, like the Colts.
Well, they're tranquil now because they don't have a quarterback.
They're gonna just find a reason to beat them up. They're just gonna be like, "You're blue. We don't like the color. Your blue's too bright. We're gonna stab you now."
Stabbity stab stab.
But man, speaking of crimes,
honestly, hold on. Honestly, though, I mean, if you can manage to not get stabbed, I think you might have a good time in Las Vegas.
You could. I mean, the best way not to get stabbed in Las Vegas is not go to a Raider game. I mean, what's safer, going to a strip club or going to a Raider game? I'm not sure.
That's true.
I mean, I did go to the last Raider game, or excuse me, that's a slip because it was predominantly Raider fans in the San Diego Chargers, the last home game. And I was wearing blue, but not like Charger blue, I was just wearing blue. So everyone thought I was a Chargers fan. I was just like, I'm not wearing Charger gear because I don't care about football. But I'm just here. I was rooting for both teams. I just wanted a good game. I'm that person.
You are neutral. You need to get stabbed.
I'm like Switzerland. I was like, yay, touchdown. I just want a good game. So
everyone's like, for every player, like, yes.
Pretty much. That was me pretty much. Like when the Chargers scored, I had to be real quiet because I was surrounded by Raider fans. I was just like whispered to my friend, I was like, I'm happy now. And then when the Raiders, I was like, yeah, high five. Like, what? Do we high five him? He's wearing blue. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care who wins. Like, oh, okay.
You should be that guy that dresses up in like paint and like half of your body is like one jersey and half your body's the other with like the paint, the corresponding color paint.
I would get beat up by both sides then. Pick a side.
Like, what are you? I'm Switzerland.
I'm neutral, man. So
I'm Braveheart.
I'm the one that stands in the middle. So, but speaking of picking a side, you know, I mentioned that I'm not really into nerdy stuff. What I consider nerdy stuff, like Star Wars and comic books and all these movies, things like that. But I do have to admit, there is something in my childhood that I have not grown out of, and I consider this a deep dark secret. I'm in the closet about this, and because
are you gonna power up before you tell everybody?
I'm gonna power up. I'm gonna start screaming like a Super Saiyan.
Did you feel it?
I felt it. I felt you went to level 3, I think. So, but
what are we talking about? What are we alluding to?
I think this is even dorkier than Star Trek. And this is up there to me. You tell me, because I'm in it too deeply to notice how bad it is. Because I don't admit this readily available. I hide this, my obsession. I wouldn't say obsession, but my deep fandom of professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty bad. Like if you saw someone wearing a pro wrestling shirt, wouldn't you be cringing? How about your reaction if you see someone wearing a... do you know who Seth Rollins is?
I do.
Let's say you saw someone wearing that shirt. Are you going to think less of them?
Okay, only if they're wearing, like, long shorts with, like, a keychain, like, chain on their like, left side. You know what I'm talking about? Like, the baggy shorts with, like, the keychain that, like, hooks to your belt and then goes to your wallet. Like, the wallet chain.
That's so they're dressed like they're still in the 90s.
Yeah, that's when everyone wore like, because like, okay, I think those wrestling people, like the wrestling shirts, have actually turned into the guys that wear the tap out shirts. They're like the same guy except tap out's newer.
No, that's a different. There's a different crowd. That's a different crowd.
Nah, they look the same to me. They look the same.
So I mentioned this because wrestling and back in the 90s, wrestling was popular back then because we had the quote-unquote Monday Night Wars. That's when WWF and WCW were going against each other.
Dude, I freaking remember WCW. It was a good time.
It was a good time. And a lot of wrestling fans, the quote-unquote, there's a term here that's super dorky. Get ready for this. It's called the IWC. And that stands for the Internet Wrestling Community.
Oh my gosh! Look at you guys playing fantasy wrestling.
Pretty much. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of fantasy booking taking place in these communities. And what's really popular right now is there's a new company that's been established that's called AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And they're going to start doing a weekly show in a few weeks.
Oh, so that's going to compete with Raw.
It's not going to be on Monday. It's going to be on Wednesday. And the WWE is introducing a show that's on their network, their platform, that has been only on their network. And now it's going to be on Wednesday nights on USA. And this AEW show is going to be on Wednesday nights on TNT. So
okay, so I don't follow wrestling like super close anymore. But like for WrestleMania, is WrestleMania like all of them together? They send people, or is it just like one branch of people?
It's just the WWE. It's just kind of the Super Bowl for them. But
okay, so but it's one branch of the wrestling community.
Oh yeah, they don't integrate. They don't do that. It's like that's what I mean. It's a war. A lot of wrestling fans have been sick of the WWE. They got bored with their product. They like wrestling, but they don't like the WWE. They consider it too kiddie. It's too boring. It's too repetitive. So now this new company is called AEW, and they just crowned their first world champion. And it's a name you're probably familiar with because he was a world champion in WCW from 20 years ago, and he was a multi-time champion in WWE. So he's been around a long time, and that name is Chris Jericho.
Oh, the walls are coming.
Yeah, he's old now.
Yeah.
He's got a weird-looking chest. He's got a big belly.
Get it, girl.
And he's got a lot of tattoos now.
He's tatted up, dude. He's no longer that sweet baby.
No, he's definitely the grizzled veteran now.
He's in his Rambo years.
So there's a really funny story that took place. So he won the title a couple Saturdays ago. And there's been a very funny memes going down. And this is a legitimate story. He went to a Longhorn Steakhouse. I'm not familiar with that brand. It's a regional brand.
Yeah, Longhorn's out. It's out where we're in the Midwest.
Is it? Okay. So he went. What is it comparable to? Is it like Outback?
Longhorn would be. Do you have Texas Roadhouse out there?
Kinda. Yeah.
I mean, it's a chain, but Longhorn Steakhouse is pretty nice.
It's above. It's above Outback then.
I would say it's a little above, but it's pretty. I would say comparable.
All right, so he went to that restaurant,
right?
And he went. We don't know who he went with. The story doesn't include that, but he went in a limo, and he went there the day after he won the championship. He ate there, he left, and he went there with his championship belt, and somebody either stole the belt or he left the belt somewhere. So there was a Tallahassee police report regarding a stolen AEW championship belt. There was a legitimate police case regarding, and the belt value was $30,000.
Oh my gosh! Is it like made of like plates of gold?
They say it's gold. They say it's 14 karat gold, but who knows?
Is there birds chirping in the background?
Yeah, I live on the 3rd floor, and there are birds chirping. It's a pretty day out here in Southern California.
It's like, well, you're at 2 hours behind me, right? Yeah, you're 2 hours.
Yeah, it's still sunny out here. So sunny. It's weird. Is it weird that it's sunny in Southern California?
I hate you. Can we continue?
So weird. It's like I'm looking outside and the sky's clear and the trees are breezing and there's like people walking and birds chirping.
Enjoy your taxes. Enjoy
my high cost of living. So, but he lost his title or it got stolen, and there was a police report made, and he posted these super funny videos online stating he almost sounded like Donald Trump. He was like, "I'm doing a worldwide investigation. I've hired the best background investigators and everything to find my title." And
I have hired those guys from the Bounty Hunter show.
And he's done it. And he had this video made while he was sitting in a hot tub, wearing a hat and a scarf. and he was drinking.
Oh, so there. Do you think that this is like a media
So
ploy?
that's what a lot of people think. They think it was a media ploy, but he did file a police report. The thing was,
I'm sure he did.
Huh?
I said I'm sure he did. That adds to legitimacy. I mean, the thing about wrestling, though, the thing that I loved about it most was like the over exaggeratedness of everything. You know, everything was just over exaggerated. I feel like I'm talking to the dang bird.
You know what? I'll be right back. You fill her up. You know what? Talk about Denny's.
So Denny's is one of our beloved sponsors that is not technically quite our sponsor. We're trying to win them over. And Denny's, if you're listening, we would love to be sponsored by you. And you know, we want to give back to our listeners. And so again, if you've not listened to episode 3 or episode 4, we have this the sweepstakes going on here, and we haven't exactly told you how to enter the sweepstakes, but you know, if you win this alleged sweepstakes, we will fly you out to Oklahoma to go to Denny's, but you have to pay for your meal, but we'll tip. Okay, so you can pick anything you want and pay for it. So the whole thing is we'll fly you out to Oklahoma. So that's the sweepstakes here. That's the sarcastic Denny's experience with us. Okay, and you know, it's going to be a grand slam.
And you know,
go ahead.
Speaking of birds, speaking of food, good food, especially Denny's, they have spectacular is not even a grand enough word, grandiose skillets.
Oh.
Their skillets are so scrumptious that if you don't enjoy it, I think it won't even be against the law for someone to smack you across the face. Like if you got a Santa Fe skillet and it's sizzling in front of you and they put an egg on it and it's still cooking a little bit because it's so hot and fresh and everyone's looking at it like, oh my God, it looks so good. Maybe I'll get that next time. And if you like took a couple bites and if you don't like it, I think it's okay for someone to backhand you. I think it's...
Hey, do they have...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, do they have Jimmy's Egg in California?
Jimmy's?
It's called Jimmy's Egg.
Jimmy's Egg.
It's like a breakfast.
No, I've never heard of it.
Place. Oh, when you come to Oklahoma, when we do that sweepstakes, you know, I got to take you to Jimmy's Egg because you might want to break up with Denny's. You might.
I highly doubt that because I bet what will happen. This is what I'm imagining: is I'm going to take 3 bites and I'm going to be like, yeah, not as good as Denny's. So
there is a skillet of legend there. It's called the Carnitas Queso Skillet.
Okay. It's kind of an interesting name for an Oklahoma branch.
Yeah, it is delicious. Extreme deliciousness. Like, I mean, you would salivate even while you're eating.
Okay, well, I hope so. I hope you don't choke on your food.
You're not even sure if you're actually chewing because it feels like there's soup in your mouth. That's how much you're salivating.
I just got my first aid CPR. I took a class. I have a certification in that now, so I know how to do the Heimlich maneuver. So
do you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver when someone's choking on soup?
I know how to. If someone's at Denny's during our sweepstakes and they're so eager and they just don't even chew their food properly, like they're trying to eat like a bird, like the bird's chirping outside, and they're eating like that, I know how to save lives now. I know how to do CPR. I know how to use a defibrillator. I know how to put on a tourniquet. And I know how to do the Heimlich maneuver. So
how bad would someone be if you had to do all those procedures on them?
It's possible. Like if I Heimlich them too hard and then they have a heart attack on the way down, they cut themselves on the edge of a table, then yeah, it's possible. And every restaurant has a defibrillator, so I know how to use that too. So I could save lives at Denny's.
You should call for the defibrillator like Thor calls for Mjolnir. Defibrillator! You just raise your hand up.
Only like half the world knows what a defibrillator is.
Yeah.
So, but we're so off topic. Back to wrestling. Yeah, the most important stuff. I don't care about saving lives. Let's talk about wrestling, okay? Let's get back on topic.
So with this is AEW,
Correct.
Right? Are they gonna have like cage matches and like
Yeah,
ladder
it's
cage
it's a
matches and
lot
what?
more raunchy. They had like an extreme match a few months ago where people were using thumbtacks on each other. People were,
Oh no, really?
yeah, it was really out there. Like they were stepping on the thumbtacks. They were smashing into each other's faces. It was pretty
Oh
gruesome.
wow.
It was a lot more gruesome
Oh,
than anything you've seen in the WWE recently. So the wrestling world is a buzz because this is the closest thing to a wrestling war that we've had in 20 years. So
huh.
now
Okay.
that you're you're
So wrestling's
you're
supposed to be
you're what we consider a lapsed fan, someone who used to be a
yeah,
fan
yeah.
that's kind of familiar with the old names and might know some of the newer names, but not really. And you watch maybe.
I I think I kind of fell off in the middle of the John Cena wake. Like I like John Cena and he started winning a bunch and I'm like, all right, I'm bored of
Yeah, it's
wrestling.
like Tom Brady now with NFL. But yeah, so that's where a lot of people left too, because they got too PG, got too kiddie. So a lot of people left, and this new company is a lot more gritty. So my question to you is, how do you feel when I say I'm a wrestling fan? Did you like, oh, that's sad? You like watching fake fighting? Like, what's your reaction to that?
No, but there's a bit of nostalgia that comes with it. And honestly, the build up, I forgot we were doing wrestling. I thought you were building up Dragon Ball.
That's why you started screaming like a psychopath. I thought you were
Yeah.
ultimate
Yeah,
warring it. I thought you were trying to be the warrior.
I thought you were gonna do a random tangent with Dragon Ball, so I was like, okay, yeah, I could go with this. Now I forgot about the wrestling thing. Yeah, but nostalgia aside, I mean, like, I don't know. I would love to see wrestling kind of come back. I mean, sports and sports entertainment in general. I think like it's just a weird. It's in a weird flux right now. You know, where it's like back in the '90s. God, I can't believe I'm saying that. So back in the '90s, like every sport was awesome. Like everyone was into it. And it was almost like you were bouncing from this to this. And like now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, that sport sucks or oh, that sport sucks. You know what I
I
mean?
think everything's niche now. So
Yeah.
being hardcore into Star Wars wasn't cool in the '90s, or being hardcore into comic books and movies and Marvel. Like Australia and Sydney, they have Marvel Stadium. They bought the rights to the biggest stadium in Australia. So that's how popular
Wow.
that is now. That Marvel has their own stadium there. So like 20 years ago, you're like, what? That sounds so stupid. But now people are like, that sounds kind of cool. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out if wrestling will ever be a touch cooler because I don't ever wear any wrestling gear. I would be so ashamed of wearing any kind of wrestling gear outside my house. It would
You should dress up as Macho Man Randy Savage and go to work.
I could do that, but then I would like to be employed. So, but like casual Fridays, people can wear T-shirts. People wear like a lot
Right.
of sports gear. Like this Friday, they were wearing like LA Rams gear because they like football. But if I were to wear like a Roman Reigns T-shirt to work,
Uh
I for sure people would be like, "Ugh, is that guy for real?" But like if I wore like a Star
oh
Wars
man.
T-shirt, it's like, "Oh, that guy's just kind of nerdy." Okay, so I don't think wrestling is anywhere near as being accepted, and I don't think it ever will be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the black sheep right now. It's kind of like, come on, dude. You kind of grew up like get up. Like wrestling was cool when you were a kid, and now it's kind of like, you know, it's
So
kind of lame.
I'm hoping it gets cool again. AEW is the beacon of opportunity that people like myself who have been in the closet now we open the door a little bit. We're like peeking through. We're like, is it okay
Yeah.
for us to come out, or should I still be hidden in here? And I'm still too ashamed to come out of the closet completely.
I'm coming out. Do. I want the world to
Yeah,
know.
that's pretty much what I'm humming when I'm in the closet. Because I don't tell anybody this.
So
I don't. No one knows I'm a. Like I tell people, but I don't acknowledge it. I don't bring it up randomly.
now all five of our listeners is going to know, Danny. How do you feel about
I
that?
feel like it's gonna go down to 3 now.
um, So random tangent here. I was kind of, I mean, I scroll on like Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook and things like that when I'm bored. And Tool came out with a new
Yeah,
album,
go
right?
away, Tool. I don't care.
Hey, shh! You're ruining the story here. So, Taylor Swift has like the number one album, in sales right now for her album, and Tool is like, I think has beaten her or is about to beat her, and so like there are these tweets from like these Taylor Swift fans going like, "Who's Tool? Like, who are these people? Are they a band? What do you mean? Oh, they're a band like from like 13 years ago. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're like outselling Taylor Swift, and who's that?" And it's like one of those things where I'm like, yeah. I mean, the album was pretty cool. Like, I don't know if you've looked at it, but like some of the songs are pretty long, and like some of the kids that are like looking at these things are like, "Who's that band, and why are their songs so loud, and it's not pop music, and it's not like flashy and kiddie." And I don't know, I think it was kind of cool. I think it's cool that Tool, their sales um can really make that much of a dent. Like, people are out there buying their music, you know what I mean? um
They have a loyal
and I don't
fan
know if they have
base.
another
The
album.
Tool fans are very loyal. I don't really like Tool because their songs are too long. Their songs have always been too long. They have like a lot of repetitive
Yeah.
beats to me, so I've never been a big fan of Tool. Even the heyday back in the '90s, I just was like, they have a couple songs, but it wasn't my jam. And I do like that kind of music a lot. I just don't like them. So it's
Right.
cool they're back. They just look really old, and they still have long hair. A lot of them. It's just like grow up. But
Oh, grow up, kind of like wrestling,
hey,
huh?
hey,
Kind of making a comeback,
I'm
right?
in the closet, so no one can see that. So
Well, Tool in the closet for 13 years. They came out. They're having their moment. This is their AEW.
yeah, I've just never been a fan of theirs. So, but I know they have a very loyal fan base. So I get it. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of like their markout moment. That's a wrestling term right there. Marking out. You ever heard of that? Like
No, I
marking out
haven't.
is when you're like super ecstatic, like you're a super fanboy about something. Is like marking out.
Uh,
So there's there's a wrestling term like dictionary that yeah,
is
there's
it
terms
really?
like marking out or he's over. Someone who's over is like super popular. So there's
Huh.
terms that are used in wrestling that I would never use in real life. Like if I said like, "Oh yeah, that dude's over," be like, "Huh?" So "Oh yeah, he's really popular." Be like, "What the hell is? Why'd you use that word?" So, but yeah, it's cool for Tool fans, the old ones. I mean, I like older. Speaking of music, man. Speaking of being old, Nicki Minaj, man, she retired. How sad are you?
I never liked her, so I don't really care.
You don't like?
How long has she been
I
doing
think she's been
music?
around for like 10 years. She's at the whopping age of 36,
Oh, so
which is
old.
weird. Like people don't retire in the music industry. I mean,
Yeah, they just kind of fade out for a while and come back
the
and fade out and
Rolling
come back.
Stones are still around.
So, like, when she says she's retired, like, does she say, "I'm retiring"?
That's kind of racist, but uh,
That's how she is. I'm Nicki Minaj.
she's retiring to start a family. That's her reasoning.
At 36, that's
And
so
she still has
old.
some time. But I think it's because of the type of music she does. That's why she has to retire. Because she has a lot of
Oh, 'cause the image, and she didn't want to
she
like
can't be a
put on
mother
that mom
and
bod.
be a hoe at the same time.
Plenty of people are
You
doing that.
could,
Have you seen TikTok?
yeah, we talked about that, but she could, but I don't think she wants to be a hypocrite. So I give her some credit for that, but you don't need to retire. You're just like, I'm going to take a break. She's going to retire. Plus, I think her gimmick, she can't do that as a mother. I
Yeah.
think that's what it really comes down to. There's another wrestling term, gimmick. Do you understand how I use that term? Yeah, so
No,
like
I
a
didn't.
gimmick is like the Undertaker. He has that gimmick of being the dead man. So she can't
Yeah.
be this hoe bag while being a mother at the same time. She can't pull it off as well. Being,
So she has a conscience. She has a
but
conscience.
I mean, are you gonna miss her avatar looking face? She
Yes.
looks like, speaking of wrestling, remember those old wrestling games where you can create a character? You ever do that?
Yeah.
Create a character?
Yeah.
She looks like the character you create when you put like 100% on like chest and 100% on the back end. She's like,
No, my favorite Nicki Minaj meme was the Mr. Potato Head with the
yeah,
yellow hair. Like I lost my crap. I lost my crap when I
she
saw that.
looks so ridiculously curvy that there's no way
Yeah.
that's gonna look good after she has kids. I personally don't think
Yeah.
it looks good now, but there's a lot of people who do. But it's gonna look horrid once.
She is she is so curvy that she can even change the mind of flat earthers.
Like, if you're a flat earther and you look at Nicki Minaj, you're gonna have to change your perspective because
Yeah,
you're pretty
yeah.
much
Like maybe
saying her butt is the highest elevation in the world. I mean,
yeah.
Mount Everest, Nicki Minaj's butt, same level.
Yeah, what speaking of butts though, I mean, doesn't Kim Kardashian have a bigger butt than Nicki
I
Minaj?
don't know. They're so fake. I don't know if it's bigger, like elevation wise, or just wider. I don't know.
Their their butts, like I mean, okay, I'm not. I mean, okay, their butts look so out there that it literally looks like someone like stuffed
Oh,
stuff
for
in their
sure they
jeans. You know
got
what I
like
mean?
butt implants or injections. For sure, that ain't natural.
I hope it's comfortable to
There
sit
are
down like
reports of
that.
people like girls getting like butt cancer now. Yeah, like
Really?
like the silicone implants. They can cause
Yeah.
cancer. Like the old ones, is particularly that weren't done well. Like butt implants
Huh.
and injections. It's still kind of a new thing. So now
Sounds kind of cheeky to me.
it sounds a bit rosy to me. So it's something that I don't know. Is if you can become like Instagram famous, is it worth the risk of losing a cheek? Dude, how uncomfortable would
I
that
don't
be
know.
to
I would
like
not.
have one of your cheeks, removed?
Well, I would want those like cheeks where like you press a button and it can inflate, and then you press another button and deflate, or like what is it,
Yeah, you want
hydraulic butt
hydraulic butt
cheeks?
cheeks, huh?
Like just jiggle to like the
That would be
music.
that would be fun in certain occasions, which I will not say.
Instead of twerking, you just like press the hydraulic button. Your like butt starts to twerk
Hey
while you're
man, you see all
standing
these
up.
futuristic movies where people have chips and scans, they could like just think about the internet and they can see it in their eyes. And that's a possibility.
All right, I'm coining it right here before it becomes a thing. The hydraulic twerk. Okay, people will have butt implants that jiggle on their own when they press a button or something like that. So it is not been invented yet, but if it does, I want the rights to this. Okay, it's my idea. It is Monday, September 9th, in the year of the Lord 2019. Okay, this is my idea. Patent right now. Digital footprint.
Most indeedy, it's going to be visual graffiti when that takes place. So I can't wait.
Oh, you better believe I'd come back to this podcast. I'd be like, listen to this podcast. Listen to it at 40 minutes. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's going to be something that the world can't wait for. I mean, there's a lot of great technology coming around the corner, and has to be one of them.
Well, speaking of technology, though, Apple's got something coming up. I mean, their annual in October, their phone releases. Are you excited? Because you're now a new Appleite,
We couldn't go an
you know?
episode. We
Little
could not go an
Appalachia.
episode without talking about Apple, could we?
And your Apple cards.
Man, I heard about the new phone. I heard
Let's
about it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not excited about Apple, but I'm one of those guys that if it's new, I'm gonna have it.
You got to get
No
that
problem.
twitch. You start getting the shivers. You get the night sweats. You're one of those
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I'm
You're,
that guy. Well, I've got the jump. I got a jump plan where I get to jump 3 times a year if I
well, how
want.
much does that cost?
Well, I got grandfathered in because I've been with like T-Mobile for 10 years. So it's like the insurance is already built into the thing, and so you don't pay anything extra. And you just turn in your phone, and you just get to jump, and you pay the taxes on the new phone. You just kind of continue going make your payments.
Wow, that sounds like something I have zero interest in.
Yeah, I gotta have my phone. I gotta have the latest and greatest. That is my vice.
Is that really your vice? Is that what you consider your vice, being like on the cutting edge of technology knickknacks?
Yeah, I mean, like right now, I need a camera upgrade for like some of the stuff I'm doing, and like the camera that I want's like $2,300. That's without
That's
the lens.
reachable.
The lens is like $1,500, and like I have a pretty expensive computer, and I've got all this tech. I'm just anything that has to do with tech. I have to have it, or I have to be, within usable reach of it. So
I get you. That's
kind
how
of
I
my
am with
vice.
yo-yos.
Oh yeah, explain yourself.
I gotta
here,
get the
yo-yo,
best,
Ma.
string. So you get crappy string, you just hurt your finger, and you don't get the same.
All right. I'm gonna test your yo-yo knowledge right here. Name a yo-yo move that's not locked it up.
The triangle.
What's the
So
triangle?
you hold you.
Is it called the triangle, or are you just thinking of an image?
You roll it down, you hold it up, and then you roll it down again,
Okay.
and you hold it up. Nah, it doesn't work. I'm just making it up.
Oh,
you caught me.
Yeah.
I am not a yo-yo connoisseur. I only have one incredibly dorky thing, and that's wrestling.
Not a yo-yo
No, I am
aficionado?
not the Barnum and Bailey yo-yo pro.
Yeah. So Nicki
Yep.
Minaj is retiring, and it's a good move for her image, and she's kind of just transitioning. I bet it's not perfect. I bet she comes back later on in life, and she's like, I'm Mama Minaj.
I think she's gonna come back and she's gonna do gospel music. She could do it. She could do it if she puts her back into it. So
you could do it. Put your
and plus that back has got a lot to do with it. So if she could do it, anybody could. It's her.
Because
get that hydraulics, girl.
Make
it work. Make it work. Make it twerk. Make it twerk. Yeah. So.
All right. So I think that's about
we're good.
it.
We talked about enough silliness about Antonio Brown, the NFL. We love Tom Brady. We talk about wrestling. We talk about yo-yos. We talk about Nicki Minaj. We talk about everything under the sun, including.
We talked about Denny's.
Exactly. And if you want to holler at your boys, you already know how to do that. Give us the 5 stars. Like us on what you like. Whatever it is, you know how we're not going to tell you to put a thumbs up on YouTube. We're not going to tell you to like us on Facebook. We're not going to tell you to follow us on Instagram, or we're not going to tell you.
Hey, can you guys follow us on Instagram, please?
I'm not going to tell you. Bill will tell you.
Hey, guys, follow us on social media. Do it. Do it.
But
please.
You can, but I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm just not. So you can, but it's your choice. Everything is your choice. Like Nicki Minaj retiring is your choice.
If you don't do it, if you don't do it, I will find your IP address and I will knock on your door and I will physically say, "Do it," and I'll watch you. I'll watch your fingers go on your phone and click like.
And remember, if we get enough of you guys liking us, you're gonna get Denny's. So there's some motivation for you to do this.
That's the sweepstakes. So I haven't. I was telling him earlier while you were going and taking care of the bird situation. I was telling him that's the sweepstakes that's going on, but we haven't decided how to enter that sweepstakes.
We know who the early adopters are, the founders. Oh, that's a good term. We should start calling our fans founders. What do you think?
I was the founders. Nah, it sounds like a.
It sounds like Scientology. Come on, be the founders.
I don't know. I was thinking of something like
nah, that's too easy.
That's lame. Or like Roast Nation or the Roasted. Oh, the Roasted, just like the used.
Roasted. I don't know. I'll let it simmer like a skillet from Denny's. So
why don't you let it roast like coffee at Denny's?
You know, I can't lie. The coffee at Denny's is kind of yucky, but the food is good.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. They, you know what? Our sponsors up in Seattle, those hipster guys, they need to
Dude,
sell their
if you
coffee
got a
to Denny's.
sponsorship for coffee through Denny's, you'd be balling. You'd be like the Starbucks of the new Starbucks. Because
Yeah, that's imagine how many pounds you got to ship over to Denny's and all their locations. Are they outside of
Denny's,
the
I don't
U.S.
know.
Denny's?
There have to be at least in Canada. I mean, Canada is like America Junior. I mean, they're getting our sloppy seconds with Dorian right now. So,
And they're
I
really
mean, Nova
respectful about it.
Scotia, I just read an article. They have like 100,000 people without power right now.
They're like,
Hey,
hey, thanks
thank
for
you.
the
Hey,
hurricane,
it's the
eh?
first thing that's ever happened here, huh? So, all their fish, they just went bye bye. I mean, they actually got like 70-mile-an-hour winds in Nova Scotia, which is pretty strong for that part of the world. They ain't used to getting bombarded with tropical storm winds. They
That's
deserve it.
crazy.
They
Yeah,
deserve it.
it
Justin
is too
Trudeau,
nice.
their prime minister, he's kind of He's kind of like their Obama. He was very promising, and then he's kind of like, I don't know anymore. So he has a lot of scandal. That's not a questionable thing. That's not a political thing to say. He has a lot of scandals going on right now. So that's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. And the other truth I stick to is how delicious Denny's is when I devour it.
All right, guys. So, hey, thank you seriously so much for listening. Again, make sure to hit us up on our social medias and shoot us an email. Don't send us pictures. And just, send us some tasteful stuff about what you want us to roast. We are a roasting channel. We roast stuff, roast things that are trending, and we would love to hear from you guys. So, seriously, again, thank you so much for listening. I know Dan and I both appreciate it. But, guys, we'll catch you
Most
guys on the next one.
indeedy. Bye bye.
Toodles. 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 Toodles.